This is day 843 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored by Rav Daniel Kislin for his close for Refuah Shlema for his father, Avram Zachariah ben Miriam. May he have a Refuah Shlema B'Karov. Today we are doing Siman Tav Kuf Lamed Tes, Ziv Gimel, through your base. Gimel. Since the primarily this the question is obviously about the we were talking about yesterday why commercial activity is also in Chol Hamoed. It's such relatively light prohibition. So he says primarily the Yontif is given to Jews to eat and to drink, to be happy, last to the Torah and be involved in Torah. As a Torah, Moshe Mersham Yerushalmi, the Yerushalmi says on Rabbi, remember Ila Yoli Bishim Yimanei. If I had somebody who would join with me in making this enactment, I would allow doing Melach Chol Hamoed. Why do you ask doing Melach Chol Hamoed? Every day you ochlim b'shosin, so people should eat and drink. If you gain b'teireh and toil and Torah, if you don't ochlim b'shosin upachsin, and people are eating and drinking and becoming frivolous. Klamar b'minas choki too, all sorts of laughter and scoffing. So the inference of that is that if they allow people to involve themselves in commercial activity, they would be distracting the entire day. They wouldn't have time to immerse themselves in the Torah. It's like every day we don't have time. To forbid commercial activity. So I feel kosher the maso matan. Kosher they ask even a minute amount. Because commercial activity has no limits. If you allow even a little bit, give a finger, they'll take a hand. She grow. They'll lead on some more. Because that grow malacha in this respect is worse than malacha in terms of the preoccupation which it generates. Nearly the malacha. In the Yerushalmi, he mentions here the word malacha. Kavanaso amasa the intent is commercial activity. The Bachsui Loiski Yerushalmi klam malacha. Because not so Yerushalmi does not mention at all actual malacha. Eliyani masa rather matters of commercial activity. It's a type of work does in a weekday. Bracket says here, works out well according to those of the Raisa. That they asked on them from this Yushank, which kind of seemed tough Kuflamet. Based on what I wrote, this works out well. Why? I guess why should we also do Raisa? If it's not also the Raisa on Shabbos because of the intent of Chol Hamoed. I assume that's what he was trying to say. I'm not sure. Rosh writes that they asked for the commercial activity because of the toil. He doesn't mean that that's enough a reason to forbid it. Lots of toil we engage in Chol Hamoed. They say Torah, but he means that this toil is bad and supposed to negate Simchas Yontif. Well, should be a Rosh Batzim Chuvas, like Rosh himself explains in his response. That shows what he says in True Source Simon Dalet. Keep it kias pragmatia in acquiring merchandise. Each Torah there's a lot of toil. Shivui in assessing. Shiva diktuk sham mekach in precise assessment of the acquisition. So, and as a result of his toil, his distraction, Yumana misimchas yontif, he'll be refrained from having proper simchas yontif. Akal shon end quote. This is the primary reason. This thing involved in Torah learning. So I feel we under being a chatzil Hashem. Yontif itself, you need chatzil Hashem. Kosh kemoed certainly Chol Hamoed. Yema masa matan if you're involved in commercial activity. Lo yihanim b'simchas yontif. A, you're not going to have simchas yontif, and B, gam lo yasok b'Torah. Not going to involve Torah either. Hey, therefore, koschar also every commercial activity is also I feel kosher no matter to what extent paying the cost and the way to buy or to sell. Even if you loan money on the condition that later on they give you wine, some other merchandise, to pay back the loan, in order to make a profit, you can't go and demand it on Chol Hamoed. And can't unless the Achar Moed, unless we'll be able to find them after Yosef. Probably Davravi, because then it's a loss. Loss. Cause a loss. Cause a loss. If you don't go Chomoid to their place where you dveim and demand of them. Abastam Ava, a generic loan. She'll have most when you lend your friend money. She sham most and you should pay back money. With a Chomoid, you can demand of him Chomoid, Ligos Mosov, to collect his money. So says you can even go to another city to collect. And even you go to court necessarily. I mean, ain't Yehudi, it goes out saying that collect one's money from a non-Jew. Shevalo who loaned money to him. Same as the Torah, which is not considered to be toil. And also to loan money on Cholamoid. It's not like commercial activity. And even he has collateral, he can demand back his loan if it's due on Cholamoid. There's those say that would you say that's allowed in order to get merchandise. If they're not around after Yontif, you can demand their money on Yontif. Got the last simon. That's only we didn't leave it specifically called might. You couldn't have demanded the money beforehand. This I think here is because Lo Shaklau came in and keeping Machmoy. But Shulchan disagrees with that saying the Magen Avraham. It says by collecting a loan, there's no concept of you left your work for Chomoy. We said so. Even though we said in last time that the old people are lazy and put things off, but that's not a collecting debts. Now the capacity to collect debts, they're not lazy. Furthermore, besides for trying to claim, for trying to demand, do you think you're going to get it? No. The Ein Zeshayach El Malacha. So it's only relevant to Malacha to put it that you put off liberally Chomoy. And even selling collateral. When he comes to for Yotav. When the Macham Mamadi had money to sell Yotav, that's forbidden. But not the demand of repayment. He's in brackets here. It's not like the Magen Avraham evidence in Ma'arik. Mechiros Mashros have to do with selling collateral because that's nowhere similar, not all similar. Mishnah writes that the Iker is like those who argue on the Taz and Aser. The exact Aser. The Taz says it depends. Could have been Mechavin, not been, it wasn't Mechavin, not Mechavin. The Rosh says Mutter. There's such thing as Mechavin. Mishnah says Aser. Doesn't matter if you're not Mechavin. So it's the exact opposite. But it says here that Bishop Baruch 2 in the end says today we're Mako as in the Arukh HaShulchan is Mako. Zayin. Those who say that which can go to man, so you have to go to court. It's excessive toil. You have to go to another city. But to the same city, without a judge or judgment, you can demand the merchandise. Can I make a that's why it's your custom? Today we even go to court cases. Not just on loans. I feel pragmatic even on merchandise. Because the default on loans is very prevalent today. Thousands of people are getting more impoverished. It's like it's sustaining the loss. Mishnah writes. Oh, you know what? I made a total mistake before. I read the Mishnah in the wrong place. I apologize. Mishnah Berurah says before, like the Magen Avraham, that there is kivim malachto b'moed. He's now it doesn't forbid more than the Arukh HaShulchan. He does, but he doesn't go the opposite direction of Arukh HaShulchan. He goes simple and straight like Magen Avraham. Can't be mechavin. Arukh HaShulchan is the ones that kind of said there's no such thing as mechavin. Now at this point, the Mishnah Berurah says, sorry about that, it's usher no matter whether you need a judge or don't need a judge. And then he says, but since like the Roshun, that since people nowadays default loans all the time, it doesn't matter. You can collect even on go to court even on Chomoid. Ches, v'day, you should know the Yesh Meshem Kadmoni, that those are the ancients. Because of the Issa Masa Maton, that they wrote the prohibition on commercial activity, ain't no Paris, it's only in public. Avobatina, but in private, como bais, such as in the house, mutter, it's permissible. That's the base in the Ukech and the Uram and Rabbeinu Nasa. Time of the early, it seems the reason is came on time of the Yisrael. It's the reason for the prohibition. Who could they show you Trab, Simchas Yontav, shouldn't get distracted, Simchas Yontav, Veisekatere, and involvement in Torah, much Kosamnu, therefore when it's in private, and you can't be so distracted. Rambam, Rosh, Vatur, Vashulchan Aruch, Lo Chilka B'zeh. They didn't make a distinction. Come, nevertheless, it seems that they might be correct. Zeush because Rabbeinu Ramah V'Sifa Ramah writes. Zeush, so this is what he was in his language. He's done lo revach merubeh b'moed. He comes across a large profit on Cholamoid. Yochel Imchar B'Tzina he could sell in private. Yotzi the Simchas Yotif. He used the money for Simchas Yotif. Yitzim Mashiach Daitolotzi more than he would have expended previously. Kalashon. But the knows, and that's also true about buying. The Machatzis says that you have to also spend some of your profits, which he estimates that this chora would give him for Simchas Yontiv. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Amen. You should use the price, at least some of the proceeds for Simchas Yontiv. Test. If you sold your friend merchandise before Yontiv, those where you can demand its price on the purchase price on Yontiv. Unless the buyer is somebody who's not so easy to find in place of the seller. It's down with Cholamoid, and Cholamoid is the gotcha. Then it's like the thing with staying loss. But he says he says he argues. The came which is since you made the purchase price alone, incumbent upon him for Yontif, and became a loan. Mutter, like any alone, mutter goes to man like Cholamoid. Havlim Darim Oboso Chotzer, even lives in the even lives in the same city. And when Achoshesh is going to fly the coop, still since it's how you're allowed to collect. Also you can go and complain in the secular courts of Shulchan Vosa for about your loans. For which you're allowed to demand secular courts. Emmanuel Cholik Basin where you can't collect them in the Jewish court. So writes, you're not allowed to write on that account unless the Dover Ovid. If you have to spend money, need the money, for Yontif expenditures, maybe even allowed to write through a non-Jew. Back then we were much more machar than we are today on writing. But it's supposed to be machar and writing as I assume we'll see some point in the future. Kamosh Kosamna, as you wrote, B'chosh Mishvat Siman Chavav. Also, you're allowed to make a reckoning of your debts on Cholamoid in order to secure them. In other words, make a reckoning, also in the air, put them in paper, but tuach, in a secure place. Maybe secure place or secure paper, whatever that would mean. That would be surely you have the capacity to collect them. That's all considered like a davar ha'aved. And Bilal says even if it's a suffix, no, that's not this. He says the Mishnah says even in a place where you're not allowed to collect from a Jew, you're allowed to collect from a non-Jew by zakifa, because it's the davar aved. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. The Torah should be similar, but I guess the Jews more tzayis dina. I don't know. But he clarified that to sell merchandise when it's going to go, there's going to be a loss. It's permitted. Let's be a loss. Says after Yontif, you're going to have to deduct from the principal. You can sell it. If you're not going to lose from the principal, also marking allowed to sell it. Bir Lacha says even if it's a question that you might lose from the principal, you're still allowed to sell it. Bir Lacha also says that if you need money to pay your own debts, which are due on Chol Hamoed, if you don't pay them, you're going to get a loss, and because it's compelled to sell merchandise on Chol Hamoed, that's also to be a davar aved. Because of a rush, the Rosh writes a kol kamikain atah yulamos berevach. If regardless, if you're gonna when you can sell now, you're gonna have excess surplus money, and you're going to pay Yosef Simchas Yontif, you're going to spend more Simchas Yontif. The Mutar Merchal Chol Yon. You come out and sell no matter what. Came from Zeis Rabba Simchas Yontif because this will enhance your Simchas Yontif. Comes out Yerushalmi. Shalom is also Yerushalmi. Bracket says here, Rivashim Reish the Pesach Pchasa Revach Hu Gavi Gankit of Ravi. Rivash so makely says even you're going to lose from the profit, not just from the principal. It's also considered to be a Dov Ravi. Shmuel writes that that this is true about Chol HaMoed, Simchas Chol HaMoed as well. And you don't have to spend all the profit on Chol HaMoed. It's this level you spend a little. So I guess it preserves some of the profit. Shmuel writes that you just have to keep your store closed. Not even though you can sell any way you want, not open your store. You can open a little bit in order that the buyer can come to acquire the purchase. Yeah, of course, that's our Rabbeinu Beis Yosef received out. But Beis Yosef writes, "B'zel shown as follows: Nearly Shalom Rudavar Melo El Mishiyesh Lemos Mortim Chas Alem Lotiko Kasim Mas Yosef." We're talking about a person who has few funds available. And he's afraid to spend them all on so much on Simchas Yontif. Feeling most, but Rabbi Amos Yosef. If he had more money, he would spend more. Aval Mishiyesh Lemos, but Rabbi, somebody has a significant amount of money, as is. Which you can spend Simchas Yontif. Chichola, you should have as much as he wants. Maybe that's all he just doesn't have a mind to spend all that. Well, not to load him quick, because you should see us. I can let him sell in order to spend more. I can't show him. That ain't all but move like about is only talking about a person who's extensively wealthy. Shuashim Mitzion. Excellent, outstandingly rich. I was telling you, but most rich people, they can't just spend everything they want. Mutat slow, email see if Simchas Yontif. Him, it's also much to do the commercial activity if it's going to add to Simchas Yontif. Especially today, Shakol Chashiv Kedei Chayav. Everything today is considered just enough to get by. So therefore, you're certainly allowed to sell to enhance your Simchas Yontif. We are looking at that Sefer Nahar Shalom is not sure about this. You basically move over to much time something which is not so prevalent after Yontif. Conspinos is like a big sale. Considers ships or shares, a caravan shabo which came Oshem Vakshim, let's say, so they want to go. Machal is selling for cheap, or local biokar, or they are buying for expensive. Mutzali Knosim can buy and sell. I feel so even it's not for immediate needs. Let's but rather do commercial activity and make money. Reading themselves true about fairs. Which happen from time to time. Even if you need to travel from city to city for the fair, you're allowed to do it. The Shabur says it's only when a person normally makes his money from going to fairs. And then it's going to be davar of it. Not if he just wants to go as a one-time deal. V'chein Yom Shuk Amiyuchad, also a special market day. Which is once or twice a year. Moshe's Rockman is not Chol Moed Pesach, since it happens in Chol Moed. It's going Karsteni Torg, whatever that is. I have a Ganki Kirit, it says like a fair. Muta Soso Masamani, not allowed to do commercial activity at that time. Mishra says it also could be that true when it happens a week before their Pesach, which is Easter, on Chol Moed. And then they buy lots of stuff. So it's considered to be a Yom HaDeshukah Lo Shchiach, one of these rare marketplace days where you can do commercial activity. But a generic market day, like most places, Yom Shuk, this market day even once a week. You gotta skip the market day. That's during Chol Moed. It's not a loss. If you can't sell this market, sell the market day after Chol Moed. So you're not going to lose from the principal. But if you know you're going to lose from the principal, then you're allowed to sell.